everybody, welcome to Sharon's Home and Garden. Today we're gonna look at some of the seeds that I've started. I actually started my garden because I wanted to try something new as far as seed starting went. And we're also gonna look at an update and see how things are progressing in the garden. So I'll see you in a few minutes for a garden tour. So let me start here and show you what I have planted. I have planted, let's see if I can do this with one hand, all these kind of garden fruit type things, and then my jalapenos, and then some flowers. So I've done that. I also planted one pack of celery. Not the whole pack, but some seeds for this. Now, I did manage to get a few more kinds of celery here. And we're going to try a couple different varieties. One thing, I love to grow celery. I really do. It's one of my favorite things to grow. It grows really well here in this area. And so I'm going to try a couple different varieties here and kind of see which ones I like. So notice all of these packs, they start indoors 10 to 12 weeks before last frost. So I have to get these going this weekend and really make sure that they all get started. So that is that. So let's go downstairs and see how things are doing. So normally I tape these on Sundays after church. So right now my lights are off. I set my lights on a timer. Whoops, bonk. And this one is, I'm just gonna turn it on here to get the lights to go back on. So I have these for 16 hours, they stay on. And with the timers, I don't have to think about coming down here and, you know, turning the lights on and turning the lights off. It's just so much easier. So one of the things I'm experimenting with is germinating seeds in plastic bags. I watched this one program on YouTube or channel called Bubble Beat, and he germinates all of his seeds in plastic bags. And so I'm going to try it. You can see I've got 3 pepper seeds here. These are cayenne pepper seeds. And we'll see how long it takes. He puts a towel on the bottom and a towel on top. The towel on top is to keep it dark and to hold in the heat. The towel on the bottom is to protect it from sitting right on the seed mat. But I'm wondering if these aren't too warm. I don't have a probe thermometer. I might have to go buy one because it feels pretty warm in there. So I've got a bunch. Now these are pepper seeds, so they're going to take a few days. But I think like this one's germinating here. This is jalapenos too. So we'll see if it works. I mean, I'll give it a week, and I may have to put another towel underneath her because this seed mat is pretty hot. I mean, it feels very warm to my hand. So it's got to be up there. I got to put a thermometer in there and see what the temperature is. So we'll see how that goes. So that is an experiment right now. In here, these are seeds that I am germinating. These are the flower seeds that I have. And let's just put the this over here. So a lot of these are the ones that are very slow germinating, or they take a very long time to bloom. So the foxglove, forget-me-nots, the Canterbury bells, both of these, monastery bells, and Salpiglosis grandiflora. Now these have come up. So those ones have come up, but these take a long time to produce flowers. They're almost like a petunia, but they're just a little more colorful. So I can see that these have come up. Then back here I've got some of my fruits, the dwarf tamarillo, ground cherries, and the huckleberries, and in here is the Chinese pink celery. So I will see how long it takes those to come up. With these coming up already, I'll have to watch them. They do get light because I didn't know how fast they were going to germinate, because my last experiment, everything germinated faster than I expected it would. So right now I am just making sure that there's water, that these trays, they're fairly dark. You can tell the dirt is fairly dark. Once it lightens up, then I will go ahead and put some more water in here and make sure these are watered. So those are the flowers and the fruit that I started. And I only started one other set of seeds. So on this other shelf, I've started some microgreens. And these containers are an idea that I got from a channel called Mike Van Doozy, is a gentleman's name. So you can see in here, I'm hoping you can see that. And let me pick this up. That the paper towel wicks up the water. And then the seeds set right on there. And these are just starting to germinate. This is red Russian kale. This is red arrow radish. I thought these would be really good to add to my salads. And they are just starting to germinate. I keep them in darkness until they're pretty well germinated. And then I go ahead and take the top off, and I'll set them under the lights. So in here, I started 2 different crop of vegetables. These are beets, and I'm going to grow these for beet tops. And this is more pak choy. So this is the hydroponic pak choy, and then this is hydroponic beets. So they should all do really well. Looks like one of the pak choy isn't coming up, but all of the beets look like they are germinating. I'm not doing these under heat because they're all fairly cold tolerant vegetables, and they're germinating just fine. Here it's like 60, 63, maybe even 65 down here. And so these I'm going to put under the light now. I just planted these on Saturday, and it's Tuesday night. So I am going to put these under the light now because they're starting to poke their little heads through. So speaking of pak choy, these pak choy are beautiful here. You can see, I don't know if you can see in there. They're really getting to be big. These were the hydroponic seeds, these 2. And this purple pak choy is just regular. They're not a hybrid seed, just supposed to be grown. This one is not doing very well. So I think I'm going to end up taking them out of there. And then in the back, I don't know if you can see, my microphone gets in the way here. Then in the back I've got some basil up here. You can see the basil popping up over the top. I think they're just about ready to get their first trimming. And then just for fun, I took these spider plant babies and just put them in soil, and I'll let them get their roots, and then I'll cut them off, and I will have 2 new plants. And I've got some more babies here. Right here are some more babies. My little container with lettuce in it, whoops, is doing very well. And my rosemary is like photobombing. I have some basil on the right and parsley on the left. They're doing well. My dragon fruit plants, doing very well. Water bubbling away there. These plants, which are the garden berries, and what are these? Melon pears are ready to be, the melon pears are ready to be transplanted. They have their first set of true leaves, so they're ready to be transplanted. The garden berries are just getting their first set of true leaves, so they were a little bit behind. Some curly parsley here, and if you can take a look at the lettuce, has really grown. I'm just amazed at how much growth there has been just in this little bit of time. So I should be able to harvest that this weekend again. I've really been enjoying that in my lunches. So in here under the LED lights, the tomatoes are doing good. Now this one I had to put a stake on because he was falling over. He was getting a little too top heavy. But if you can see, my peppers, my cucumbers have quite a few flowers on them. And this one, we're going to put you over there. He wants to climb over to the tomatoes. So yeah, I've got quite a few flowers. Come on. My girlfriend is a plant whisperer. She can get them to go around. But they've started to climb up. Let's see there. And then these tomatoes, now just in the last couple days, this is a cluster of flowers here. So that's just started within the last couple days. Here's another one. Now this is, I can tell I'm going to run out of room in here already. I'm going to have to buy some more. So I'm trying to see. Here's another cluster of flowers there. So we're just starting to get some fruit on this tomato. Just looking beautiful. So I'm kind of really happy with this. I think I have to check in here almost every day and make sure the cucumbers aren't running away. Because they're really, some days they really have growth spurts. What do you think, Ellie? Do they smell like tomatoes and cucumbers? We got visitors. It's funny, since my cat has been gone, these dogs spend more time with me down in the basement. And it's not that, right, Macy? Yeah. Yeah, it's like the sheriff is gone. So here's my bay laurel tree. And then under there, you can see my rosemary. Everything looks such a funny color in here. So one of the things I'm going to have to look for this week is a probe thermometer for the seed starting mats. Either that or a mat that I can control the temperature, like I can set the temperature to 85 or whatever, because that's about the temperature you want for the seed germination. And I was thinking too about putting another towel underneath just to kind of keep the seeds further away from the heat, and we'll see if that works. But this gentleman who did this on his channel has such good luck. I mean, that's the way he germinates most of his seeds. And for me, it just makes so much sense, because you're not sitting there waiting for the seeds to come up. And if you just plant more than you need, like for most of those peppers, I planted 3 seeds, so they're all new peppers. And I only want 1 plant. So all I need is 1 to germinate. I will probably plant 2 of them, and then I'll have a backup in case something happens between now and Memorial Day weekend when they go out in the garden. So it's a long time for them to live inside. Well, they don't live inside the whole time. I do end up taking them out into the greenhouse in April. That's about the earliest I can get them out in the greenhouse, because you just can't chance it. You can't chance planting your garden around here before Memorial Day weekend. But at least then they can start getting some real sunlight, and that helps a lot. Once the grass starts greening up, then I can take things out to the greenhouse. And even in April, I still have to worry about bringing them in if it gets too cold. So, because my greenhouse is not heated. So that's on my to-do list this week, is to get a temperature probe for those seed starts. These ones look like they're doing well. One of the things I always tell people is if you want to start your seeds indoors, you have to count on checking on them every day. Because like today, the seed starts look fine. But Macy, what are you doing? But tomorrow they may be dry, because they are on a heat mat, and that heat mat really dries things out fast. So if you're going to do this, you'll kind of have to be committed to babysitting them every day. Last year I went on vacation in the middle of March, and I wasn't able to start anything until after then, because I didn't have anybody who could come here every day and check on everything. So it is kind of fun to check on things every day. I mean, you come home from work and it just gives you a chance to decompress, because I have a really long commute. And I come down here and there's green, there's lettuce growing, the pak choy is looking so good. And then I go in and say hi to my cucumbers and my tomatoes. And like today, I look and all of a sudden there's flowers on the tomatoes. So it's always so much fun to watch. It's a wonderful thing about gardening, is it just the energy that it creates, the good energy. So, all right, are we done here, kids? Are we done? You gotta watch the tail. I think we're done. So I hope you enjoyed this garden update, and I look forward to sharing with you again next week as to what's new in the garden. Hopefully I'll get a lot of seed starts going, at least get that celery going, because March 1st is 10 to 12 weeks out for our last frost date, which is May 11th, although we have frost after that. So I look forward to doing that, and I hope to see you here next time. So always remember, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. See you all soon. Bye.